I got to come out and say, all jokes aside, Brittany Griner was an absolute beast tonight. But I'm not sure there was a bigger beast in the arena than the officiating in this game, which was absolutely brutal.
Picture this. 17,000 fans holding their breath at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the scoreboard frozen at 91-90, and Caitlin Clark, the most popular athlete women's basketball has ever seen, flat on the hardwood with no whistle in sight. In that split-second silence, the league's credibility teetered. Was this just another missed call? Or the moment millions decided the WNBA can't be trusted to protect its brightest star? Tonight we peel back every frame, every foul, and every motive behind the game that sent social media into meltdown and forced executives into full damage control mode. On paper, May 20th was a classic. Atlanta stole a 91-90 thriller from Indiana, snapping the Fever's perfect start and handing Clark her first one-point home loss as a pro. She still dazzled. 27 points, 11 assists, 5 boards, tying Courtney Vandersloot atop the all-time list for 20-10 games in just her 42nd appearance, a record Vandersloot needed more than 400 games to build.
We got to just come out and say it. The original triplets showed up tonight. Aaliyah Boston, 24, Kelsey Mitchell, 24, Caitlin Clark had a monster game. 27 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. Those 5 rebounds she had in the first half of the game.
But you wouldn't know any of that from the headlines. Instead, the story was stripes over stats, whistle over basketball. It started with an anonymous YouTuber stitching every no-call, phantom foul, and head-scratching whistle into a 14-minute supercut. What looked like routine physical play in real time became, in slow motion, a pattern. Clark's elbow slapped on a pull-up. Her landing space invaded on a corner 3. Her ribs crunched on a blindside cut. 7 obvious shooting fouls drew nothing. 4 ticky-tack touch fouls went against her on the other end. The video racked up 2 million views overnight and was reposted by ESPN personalities, PGA champ Bubba Watson, and half the NBA Twitterverse. Here's what got lost in the outrage. Clark also became the 4th fastest player ever to 800 career points that night, needing 42 games. Only legends like Maya Moore reached the mark quicker. Add the fact that she already owns 6 25-point 10-assist outings, most in league history, and you get a statistical avalanche unseen in women's hoops. None of those milestones led SportsCenter, because controversy always outshouts accomplishment. Even the calm corners of basketball Twitter erupted. Clark's boyfriend, Butler assistant Connor McCaffrey, fired the first shot. Good to see the W refs in mid-season form. Jason Whitlock called the crew horrible. And when Bubba Watson, sitting baseline, tweeted, "How is that not a foul?" the clip detonated beyond basketball's bubble. By dawn, Jucker fair whistles trended across 3 continents, and league offices in Secaucus fielded more than 12,000 complaint emails. Triple the previous one-day record after the 2024 finals.
Let's take a look at the final numbers. I got to tell you, number one, shame on the WNBA, because the WNBA and everything that's happened in the last 3 days absolutely wore down this Indiana Fever crowd.
Missed calls happen. What stings here is the asymmetry. The same hip check that sends Clark sprawling earns free throws for her opponent seconds later. Neutral viewers don't need advanced metrics to smell a double standard. They simply count bruises. And when bruises pile on your marquee attraction, whose presence has juiced national ratings 71% year-on-year and delivered the first sellouts in 8 previously struggling markets, the cost is existential. Let's slow down the film. 7:42 left in the second. Clark splits a trap, rises, and dream forward, Letitia Amahir hacks her forearm. Ball ricochets. Fast break, Atlanta. Officials, silent. 4:18, third quarter. Clark chases a transition layup. Ryan Howard makes shoulder-to-spine contact mid-air. Clark lands sideways. Crowd gasps. Play marches on. Those 2 possessions alone cost Indiana 5 points, the exact margin at night's end. Multiply across 4 quarters, and the whistle tilts an entire outcome. Conversely, at 2:33 of the fourth, Clark slides laterally on the wing, hands sky high, maintaining verticality. Howard initiates contact, spins, misses, tweet, blocking foul Clark. 30 seconds later, she bumps through a legal screen, barely dislodging the screener's shoulder. Tweet. That's her fourth. Fever coach Stephanie White can only throw her palms skyward before swiveling to the bench. Indiana's best passer sits for 2 critical minutes. Atlanta builds a 6-point cushion. One game's grudges could be chalked up to randomness. But analysts have clocked a 22% disparity between the fouls Clark draws per drive and the league average for high-usage guards, adjusted for minutes and pace. That number jumps to 28% in the final 2 minutes of close games, exactly where superstars usually get the benefit of doubt. When a data set reaches 40-plus contests, coincidence begins to look like design. So why would referees swallow whistles on the figure who fills arenas? Theory 1 is generational. A prove-it-kid mindset rooted in veteran resentment of rapid stardom. That hazing culture echoes early NBA lore. Jordan's Jordan rules years before the whistle flipped. Theory 2 is darker. That league decision-makers fear Clark's dominance eclipses other stars and dictates coverage, so they quietly encourage officials to let him play when she's involved. Far-fetched? Maybe. Until you hear on-air talent caught referencing emailed talking points, instructing panels to balance Clark chatter with other storylines. Here's the paradox. Every rough-up that goes uncalled might lower Clark's stat line, but it also chips away at the very revenue stream underwriting league expansion. Gate receipts are setting records. Indiana's road games have sold out 10 straight arenas, and Prime Video's Fever Dream broadcast just logged the platform's top WNBA audience ever. Alienate those fresh eyeballs and they may never come back, concluding women's basketball is scripted before they've had the chance to discover Aja Wilson or Alyssa Thomas. Publicly, the league has said nothing beyond the standard 2-paragraph referee pool report. No commitment to review procedures, no transparency database like the NBA's last 2-minute reports, no acknowledgement that fans see a pattern. Silence can read like guilt. In the social media age, corporate statements arrive at broadband speed. 3 days of nothing feels like an admission. 2025 should be a coronation. 10 new national sponsors, a fresh German language rights deal, and a collective bargaining renegotiation on the horizon that could finally push max salaries above $500,000. Clark's presence is the engine making those numbers plausible. Mishandle her, and the union's leverage collapses, owners retrench, and the sport's fragile financial picture slides backward. To their credit, Fever veterans refuse to sugarcoat. All-star forward Aaliyah Boston, after her own 24-point night, bluntly told reporters, "We see what you see. We just want consistency." Kelsey Mitchell echoed the refrain, "Let us decide games, not whistles." Yet Clark remains stoic. When cameras caught her describing Thursday's bounce-back win as ugly but we found a way, her understated frustration spoke louder than any rant.
Yes, this stinks. We want to win this game. But, I think this is great for our team. A little adversity. How are we going to respond? How are we going to come in here tomorrow morning and watch the film and learn and get on the court and get better? And like I said, that's why this league is so great. You have a couple days and then you get right back to it. You find a way to respond. We have a chance to go there and play them, actually. So it's even better, I guess. We can, get a little redemption if we go down there and play well.
Imagine tuning in because you heard Clark Drain's logo threes, only to watch her mauled with no call while a 30-minute parade to the line plays out on the other end. If your first impression screams rigged, there's little chance you'll buy a league pass package or a jersey. Integrity equals retention. Fixing this isn't quantum physics. Publish last 2-minute reports for every nationally televised game. Add a fourth official, as FIBA has trialed, to monitor off-ball contact. Implement real-time coaches' challenges, one per half, retained on success, to discourage fan-based conspiracy theories. Most importantly, enroll referees in the same media-savvy transparency training players receive so whistleblowers can explain calls in plain English moments after final horn. Indiana and Atlanta meet again on June 10th, with cameras ready to dissect every bump. A week later, the Fever visit Chicago in a nationally streamed rematch of last season's viral flashpoint with Angel Reese. And mid-July, Indianapolis hosts All-Star Weekend. If the league hasn't restored faith by then, those boo birds could drown out the celebratory soundtrack meant to showcase the sport's upward trajectory. Basketball's magic lives in the swish of a net, the no-look dime, the roar when a dagger 3 splashes. It dies when fans believe outcomes are preordained. So here's the challenge for the WNBA. Protect every player equally, especially the one drawing record crowds, and prove that skill, not selective whistles, writes the final score. If you're watching at home, demand transparency. Use the hashtag #FairWhistles, flood the league office, and let sponsors know the product you're paying for is competitive excellence, not controversy. The ball is in the W's court now. Time to blow the right whistle before the moment, and the momentum, slips away.